Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters,
and everything else in between. Namaskar, dosto. Well, let's start with what's happening right now. England is playing in the World Cup cricket. They'll probably get through into the group stages. This is, by the way, the T20. And England is also playing in the Euros. It's football in Europe. And hopefully we'll get into the group stages in that as well.
People have been asking me.
So it's coming home.
What's coming home?
That's right. 3 lions on my shirt. You don't know the song?
No, I know the song, but I've never been able to figure out where the 3 lines fit in, because I have to make a confession here. Up until 22 years ago, when I first came to live in this country, I knew that the United Kingdom was represented by the Union Jack. I had no idea that the various countries that form the United Kingdom had flags of their own. So I was really surprised to know that England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales...
The English flag is the St. George's.
Which is a white flag with a red cross.
Correct.
So where are these lions? Are they hidden somewhere in that cross?
No, but if you look at the English jersey, you'll see there's 3 lions on the badge.
Where do they figure? In someone's coat of arms or something, I'm guessing. Must be, right?
Yeah, but obviously it was Richard I, I think. In the Crusades. He was known as Richard the Lionheart.
But it's not part of the England flag.
You know, what is the correct word for those people who carry the flag? The standard bearers.
Yeah.
The crest used to be a lion. So over the years... They must have added more lions. You know, Henry I, Henry II.
And somehow I think that kind of looks nicer than just having a red cross
obviously,
on a white flag.
Someone's going to write into us and correct me and say that you just talk total blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's what
right into you. My God, you really are in the dark ages, Richard I, as you said.
That's what I believe in anyway. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So, I know we've spoken a lot about sport on the podcast, but we have to, because this is the summer of sport. And as you're saying, 2 major tournaments, one in cricket, the other in football, are on at the moment. The Olympics haven't even started, and it's just going to be absolute madness. People are asking me, because we are British Asians, my friends have been asking me, so are you supporting India in the cricket and England in the football? I said, well, I suppose...
That's how it always works. Everyone asks the same question.
No, but it may not work for you because you were born here and raised here before you were shipped off to India. But I lived in India. I grew up in India. It's still my home.
मेरे देश की धरती.
हाँ, ये भी तुम्हारे देश की धरती है. इसीलिए for you it might be a difficult choice, but I think that's how it works. Also, the England cricket team is not much to write home about at the moment.
No, they're going to get through.
Superior.
They're going to get through.
Get through, yes, but get how far? But saying that...
They're the present holders of the T20.
No, that's true, but that was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But saying that, those who remember the World Cup from last year, India famously did not drop a match, did not lose a single match up until the most important match in the tournament, which they lost. So we don't know.
Well, it's a game. All sport is
true.
It's a game of probabilities. You know, if you keep winning, you have to lose sometimes.
Yeah, but
look on the positive side.
Yeah, hopefully not the most important match. But you're right. That's the fun of it, because you have no idea. Underdogs stand just as much a chance as the champions. So moving on, I think we'll get back to sport when the Olympics start. We've also been watching a lot of television. Collectively, individually, on Netflix, on the big screen?
Yeah, because I was going to say that today, Sonakshi Sena got married.
Yeah.
And I just happened to see the movie. She's married, do you know what his name is?
Zahir Iqbal.
Zahir Iqbal. I happened to see a bit of that movie where she and him are starring. Because anything that's set in London,
are you
I
talking about Double XL?
It's called Double XL. So I thought, I must watch a bit of it to see what this London thing is. So it was mostly, I think, Windsor and Kent, but doubling as London kind of thing.
Yes.
So
was the movie any good? Was the story any good? Because I know that it was about body shaming, and it was supposed to have this really positive message.
She was very good at it. The other actress,
Huma Qureshi.
I thought she was better. And I'll own up, right, confession time. Our Netflix, so this was our Netflix subscription, is about to end any day now.
Yes.
So I thought, let me cram in as much as I can.
Oh, are you saying that you're not going to renew it?
We had it for a bit. We don't watch that much. But suddenly, as I knew it was finishing, I saw Article 370.
Yeah.
I saw Jane Jan, which I enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
Which is set up in the hill stations. I think it's in West Bengal.
Kalimpong.
It was beautiful. It's very atmospheric.
Yeah. But people did say that Jaideep Ahlawat was the best thing about it, that Kareena was very wishy-washy, even though it was her OTT debut. And that those who've seen the original, The Devotion of Suspect X, they say that this is nothing. It's not a patch on the original.
The ending could have been better, I thought.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. And he's always very good in every movie. Vijay
Varma.
He's a good actor. I like him. He played the police inspector. I also saw a movie which I really, really did like, called 12th Fail. It brings out that Josh in you, that
tell us something we
motivation.
don't know.
Anyone can do it if you.
You're very late to the 12th Fail party.
Put your heart and soul to it.
Yeah.
I was under pressure to watch it. I thought, my subscription is going to, I better see this. Everyone's talking about it. And I had to watch it late into the night.
You know that it's been such a success that Vidhu Vinod Chopra is now making the making of 12th Fail, because he has famously said that everyone that he met along the way whilst he was planning the film, including his wife, who's a rated film journalist, Anupama Chopra, everyone told him that the film would not find a market, that people were just not interested in these sob stories, that it was so far away from what was trending and what was popular right now, which is mainly action.
What I really liked was it really had, apart from Vikrant Massey, it virtually had no names.
Yeah. Medha Shankar, since then, she always says,
fantastic.
Yeah, she says that her Instagram following went from 100,000 to 2 million or something like that overnight.
Yeah, talking about Anupama Chopra, just to show you how clued in I am. I believe, you know how famous thing is, thing she does, this film companion?
Yeah.
I think it's closing down and she's joining Hollywood Reporter.
Okay, so I think it's supposed to be something that's good, right?
No, it's a step up, But,
yeah.
But there will be no more film companion.
Yeah. I give her full marks for journalistic ethics, though people do say that, she is a Karan Johar groupie and she reviews certain films in a flattering light, whilst she is absolutely brutal while reviewing films made by the so-called rival camps. I think all of us carry a bias in our work, whether we like it or not. And what I liked about her is the fact that she never ever reviewed a film that her husband was involved in, either as director, producer, or in any way.
Which is good. Now, I must also say that allegedly I've heard that it's closing down. And for all I know,
it may not be.
I've read something which is totally wrong.
No, or maybe she might be doing two different things, or somebody else might be taking over. But you're right, Film Companion has a massive viewership. And I do feel that the reviews that I have seen of her, she does make a point. If she likes something, she tells you why. If she doesn't, she tells you why, which is how it should be, really. It's not just enough to say that it didn't tickle my fancy.
Your favorite film reviewers are those not comedic ones, but the ones which are like a parody, sarcasm.
Yeah. BC Auntie is my absolute favorite. Again, she's a Karan Johar. She got massively excited when Karan Johar kind of did a little tie-up with her and did a collab with her on Insta. She was one of the ADs on Hira Mandi. It was
she's a
TV star. She's a TV star, but now she became an assistant director on Hira Mandi. And again, she's absolutely brilliant at her short and sweet reviews. And it started with, I remember during lockdown, that's when I first discovered her. And
what's her name again? BC Auntie.
BC Auntie, very cute auntie. That's what it's meant to be, not something rude. And her name is Snehil Dikshit. And apparently she was a star from some TV show, which we've never seen.
What's the rude bit? Dikshit?
No, BC. And the first one that she ever reviewed was Extraction, which was the first big movie that came out during lockdown. The Russo brothers kind of masterminded this. Who was the main star? Chris Hemsworth. And I remember we saw it as well. It's part based in Mumbai, Bangladesh.
There's a part 2 as well.
Yeah. And I thought she absolutely nailed the review. And since then, each time I've watched a film and heard her review of something that I have seen myself.
You agree with her?
I agree with her. I think she's...
You also watch, if I'm not mistaken, a Pakistani
I did.
Site.
So we went to the... you're talking about reviews?
Yeah.
I do. It's called Something Hot. It is...
Hot as in not H-O-T.
H-A-U-T-E. And that's because the lady who is Amna Haider, who is one of the co-anchors, is actually a fashion journalist. And she's about my age. I think she's a year older or younger than me. So she talks about films which I can relate to. We are of the same generation. And the guy that she does it with, Hassan Chaudhary, has now become a very popular TV presenter as well. But I absolutely love the way they give a film due credit. This started with, again, in lockdown when we had too much time on hand. It started with me suddenly again coming back to the world of Pakistani dramas, which I've always loved.
Do they concentrate on Pakistani stuff or they do Bollywood
That's how
stuff?
they started out. So they concentrate, and they actually, this is their job, and because they are so rated and followed and they get so much money from it, that both of them have to watch a minimum of 6 dramas a week, and then they review it. Then they started doing something called Beyond Borders, and they talk about films which are from Bollywood, and not every film. They've reviewed Hira Mandi, which is absolutely fantastic. They've reviewed Lapata Ladies, raving about it.
Did they like Hira Mandi?
No, they said that, they said exactly what Bollywood is saying, and that's what I love about it, that India, Pakistan, Hindu, Muslim, none of these considerations come into play when they're reviewing something. They purely look at it from a very artistic perspective, and they're always funny, humorous, absolutely caustic and hilarious. So they said that whilst we were blown away, Bhansali is a benchmark in movie making, yeah? Whilst we were blown away with the detailing and the opulence and all the rest of it, those of us who gone to Hira Mandi, we felt that it's clearly, you can tell that Sanjay Leela Bhansali's never set foot in Hira Mandi. And
It was his fantasy.
And then she said that, she had a point. She said that a small network of 2-3 gullies, which he has made to look like mini Taj Mahals. If he were to make a story on a place like Taj Mahal, how much more can he actually? That's what they were saying, that it's so blown out of proportion. And then she was saying that...
Isn't the next, he's been sanctioned to
do season 2.
Season 2,
yeah.
which I believe is either in the movie industry or
it is in the movie industry, because they say that the wives have... So I actually liked it. I like the fact that he panders to the dark side of human psyche. I love the fact. But so much criticism has come from historians and people who are not criticizing it just to stand out or for the sake of it. So much criticism has come from people who've said that if only Mr. Bhansali has used 2 chandeliers less and thrown a bit of money into historical research. They're saying that he has made the fatal mistake of assuming that in pre-partition times, the culture of Lucknow and Agra was similar to that of Lahore, which it wasn't. Lahore में Muslim culture के साथ-साथ Punjabi का भी एक बहुत strong तड़का है, because it's only 25 kilometers from Amritsar. It is a part of Pakistan, Punjab, right? So they're saying that it is not that refined and attuned to Muslim aesthetic to the level that Lucknow and Agra were. That is the fatal mistake he's made. Anybody who's gone anywhere, lived anywhere near, forget Hira Mandi, anywhere near Lahore would know कि ये आप किसी fictional शहर को लाहौर दिखा रहे हैं.
As I tell you many times, my dad was born in
Lahore.
In those days, it was known as British India.
Yeah, and your dad is Punjabi, right? And then even after partition, they moved to Jalandhar, you say, right?
They did, yes.
Moved to Punjab. So that's what they're saying, that the Punjabi element, then they had a problem with the way the maids in Hira Mandi were speaking Punjabi, which they said, oh my god, it jaws, because it's not colloquial Punjabi, because these actresses were not. But then they said something which again makes so much sense. In his defense, he said that this was not meant to be a history lesson. This is a figment of my imagination. They're saying, fair enough, absolutely, you can make what you like. Don't call it Hira Mandi. Don't reference it with a place that actually existed, which was actually known for the wives. Then you give it a fictional name. Nobody's ever going to say.
Is it not still there?
It's still there, and it's pretty much, they're saying it's nothing like what it is. And now Amna says it sounds, you know what it sounds like? It sounds a bit like Chandni Chowk. Now it is known more for its street food. People go to Hira Mandi to eat chaat, this, that, all kinds of yummy street food, Nothing. It's not the first thing that comes to mind is tawaifs and this kind of opulence. Definitely not.
Then of course, you mean it's no Amsterdam?
Yeah, and we again back completely going off track here, but because it makes sense. Then again, people also say that Sanjay Leela Bhansali is guilty of glorifying a profession which no woman would ever get into unless she had no other option. It's about selling your body. Who would want to do that? But he is making it look like such a dreamy and such a profession which, where you're selling your body and you're making a pact with the devil every single day in a blink of an eye without feeling anything at all. And that is again something which has not gone down well with a lot of people.
Maybe that's how culture was 200 years ago.
Well, that's what they argue. A lot of people say that the wives were not just supposed to be these sex workers. They were supposed to be people who were really cultured. They knew how to make a pan, they knew how to dress, they knew how to recite sheru shairi and sing and dance and do kathak, and they were well trained. Well, that's, I suppose,
Talking of Pakistani stuff, you saw a Pakistani premiere this week.
I did. I went to a Pakistani premiere. And can I just say...
Did you interview the stars as well?
I interviewed the stars the next day. Even at the expense of sounding like a broken record, I felt that it was as good as Legend of Maula Jat, which I absolutely loved. As good.
Sorry, picture ka naam bata do.
The picture ka naam hai Umrao Ayyar, A New Beginning. Now, Umrao Ayyar, for those, because we've never heard the word. Now, apparently this is a part of Islamic legend. And I got the impression that in the same way that we grow up reading Amar Chitra Katha, stories of kings and queens were a part of our folklore, Umrao Ayyar is this race which is meant to be a very superior race. And by superior, I mean they are the ones who've protected the weak from the evil forces, and they've been these warriors and rough and tough people who've had these special powers. And once again, I think that this compares with the best of the best that Hollywood has to offer, because the special effects are phenomenal. At no point do you feel that you're watching a video game. The acting is something that really embodies the less is more philosophy, which is what I love. कोई फालतू का डायलॉग नहीं है, कोई फालतू का रोमांस नहीं है, जहां पर जितना
how long was the
2 hours, just 2 hours, perfect time, yeah? कोई फालतू के गाने नहीं है, and yet the film doesn't drag for a moment. I would have thought fantasy fiction is not my thing. You guys sit and watch all this, Avengers and Batman and this and that and 1,000 other spin-offs. I've never been into that. Although people say that those who have really invested in the characters, including our teenage boys and the rest of the world, there are beautiful lessons to be taken away from. It's not just graphics and baddies battling each other. It is about kindness. It is about channeling your inner superhero, etc., etc. But this was brilliantly done.
Now, you mentioned Amar Chitra Katha.
Yeah.
Name me someone we know who wrote Amar Chitra Katha.
It's my mother, of course.
I know, I can never get over the fact that your mom wrote some of the Amar
she
Chitra
wrote
Kathas.
some of the stories, especially the ones that were from Bengal folklore, Sukhu Dukhu and many others. So, mind you, Amar Chitra Katha had a formidable team of writers.
Talking about going to premieres, I'm quite excited because normally I don't accompany you.
Yes.
Even I'm going to a premiere this week with you. And
that's mainly because it's in an IMAX.
Because it's in an IMAX. I wanted to go to an IMAX basically. And it's also because it's being billed as one of the most expensive Indian movies ever.
Yeah.
And it's a variety of languages.
Yeah.
And it stars, before I give you the name, it stars Prabhas, Amitabh Bachchan, Deepika Padukone, Kamal Hassan, and it is called Kalki 2898 AD. So it's set in the future.
It's set in the future, but whatever, how many ever years that is from now.
Is it like a Mad Max kind of movie?
700 years from now. So it aims to bridge the past and the future. So I believe Amitabh Bachchan and all are playing characters which are rooted in the Mahabharata. And yet it looks at a time, so as they call it, a dystopian thriller. It looks at a time where humanity is really on its knees and it's really on the verge of perishing some 700 years from now, and how these people with special powers, people with special powers must fight the baddies.
Sounds quite like an English movie.
Again, I'm not revealing anything or doing a little giveaway here because it's widely known. They did a big event.
Obviously, because we
haven't seen it. Do you know who the baddie is?
We haven't seen it yet.
Do you know who the baddie is?
No. Give me a clue. Is it someone very famous?
Yeah, it is. Out of the cast that you just read.
Kamal Hassan.
It is. He says that, it is every actor's dream to get away with doing bad things on screen.
I kind of guessed it must be.
And he said that Nag Ashwin makes bad look so good. And they're all raving about it. And Amitabh Bachchan was quite funny actually.
And Nag Ashwin is the name of the character?
Is the director.
Oh, the director.
So Amitabh Bachchan was quite funny actually. He said at the event that when Nag first came, Nagi they call him, when Nagi first came and narrated the character to me and told me exactly what he had in mind in terms of what he wanted to show and shoot, I thought, what is this guy on? What has he been drinking or eating, smoking? But from that day, hear him narrate his vision and just read it on paper as a script to actually seeing it now. He says, my mind is blown. Let's just see how it goes. So we are off to the world premiere. Ironically, the movie releases on the same day. So we're watching it on the same day. And I think this is the makers just trying to get us to talk about it. They don't want anyone to kind of miss out on talking about it. And I will be talking about it in no uncertain terms. I mean, whichever way it goes. I have to say, I haven't warmed to the trailer much, but I'm willing to be persuaded and drawn into a world which looks good. Umrao Ayyar actually came in at the right time. Had they not said to me that, Usman Mukhtar, the main hero, who I've idolized, I love him in the Pakistani dramas that I've been watching, and one of my all-time heroes from Dhoop Kinare, Rahat Kazmi Sahab's...
Dhoop Kinare is very old.
Years ago, Rahat Kazmi Sahab's son, Ali Kazmi, he's also in there. If it weren't for the prospect of having the opportunity to chit-chat with them, and we did a 3-way Zoom. So Usman Mukhtar was attending the premiere in Dubai, Ali Kazmi, I think, was sitting in Canada, and I was in London. So it was a 3-way Zoom. It was fantastic.
We've actually done a podcast 2-3 years ago on Dhoop Kinare.
On Dhoop Kinare.
What's her name?
Zoya.
Yeah.
Marina Khan. So we know how iconic it is. So if it weren't, when they said, Shabnam, we'd like you to interview these people, obviously, Banta, you have to watch it first. I can't just ask them generic questions. And once I went and saw it and loved it so much, now I'm willing to give Kalki a chance as well. I think the trailer, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
And to see it
on IMAX,
and the full scope that it's made.
No, but let's not forget, there's something else we saw during lockdown on IMAX with Tom Cruise, without even knowing Tom Cruise was watching it with us, which we've not been able to make head or tail of till today.
That's true. It was COVID times, and it was the first movie. And
coming out of lockdown.
Very kindly, they invited us to it. And we were wondering, so much security, they took our phones off us.
Yeah. And even during the screening, there were people who were walking up and down the aisle with those green torches just to see, and we were like, maybe they want to see if people are maintaining social distancing or not.
Yeah, because it was the movie to bring back people to the cinema.
Yeah. And we were all actually, do you remember, we were all invited in bubbles, as in you could only take +1. So the two of us went. And everybody was sitting 3 seats apart. This was a very novel experience of being in a cinema where everyone is sitting in 2s or 3s.
And then the head of Warner Brothers came on stage to
give a speech.
Give a little speech, and we thought, this is not normal.
Yeah.
And then as we were walking out, we found out there was already a buzz. But then we found out, we saw it on the news later. Tom Cruise was sitting on the road next to us.
No, fair play. A, he must have come in at the last minute after the lights went down, and B, we were all wearing masks. So that made it even harder. But what I'm saying is, even though we saw that's our highlight from that screening, the movie Christopher Nolan's Tenet made absolutely no sense to me at all. Tenet.
And it had Dimple Kapadia in it.
It had Dimple Kapadia.
It made no sense to me at all.
It is about the main character going into the past to prevent an incident that is about to happen in the future, which has not happened. It is truly a mind bender. So anything that we watch on IMAX doesn't mean that because it's on IMAX it's going to blow you away. The story has to make sense. Christopher Nolan, please take note. Your standards are falling. You're a man who's made Memento. You're a man who's made such fabulous films.
That
Prestige.
No, forget that. He got it back together again with
Oppenheimer, right. But that was the one blip on the radar, I think, that one little thing.
Oh, we've talked a lot today.
We've talked a lot. Yeah, chalo.
Till next time. We'll let you know how India's doing, how England's doing.
Yeah. And you tell us how excited you are about the Olympics.
And the Olympics will be coming very soon as well.
Yes.
Okay then. Bye both then.
Bye-bye.
Before we say bye, don't forget to do the things you have to do, which I don't know anymore.
Which is follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. Shabby And Man is the official title.
By the way, have I said thank you? Because we have on one app, on a certain app that people can download us. We have 50,000 people have downloaded us.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's just amazing.
Thank you so much. Please continue to indulge us, continue to download, continue. If you haven't told your friends about this, your family about this, as a podcast that really is a bit of fun, really, no more than that. But we love to share it with you. Tell your family and friends about it. And follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and Twitter, I believe, or X. Until next time.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.